Hogwarts Legacy is coming our way this year with all its magic-packed adventures, but this game comes with its own set of controversies that are also part of the real world. What was once a beloved series isn't so loved anymore. Stay tuned to find out why, and if J.K. Rowling will still be paid for the new game, even after the controversies. Starting with Hogwarts Legacy, releasing soon, with not-so-great reception. For 25 years, the Harry Potter series has played a significant role in popular culture, especially for those who grew up with it. Even while video games have often had less of an impact on the fan base, fans have consistently been captivated and intrigued by the novels and movies. Hogwarts Legacy appears to be everything fans have been waiting for decades, and possibly could be something that changes that. Who doesn't know about Hogwarts Legacy? We don't know about you, but we've been waiting impatiently for this one. This single-player, open-world action role-playing game based in the Harry Potter universe called Hogwarts Legacy will be released by Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment very soon. In February to be exact, but the game has been dogged by controversy ever since its announcement in September 2020. As the game's release this winter approaches, it seems more and more controversies about the series are jumping up from the blue. The latest roadblock stems from the game's State of Play trailer, which featured one of the Wizarding World's most contentious characters, goblins. Previous roadblocks have included the problematic past of one of the game's designers, the portrayal of the Hogwarts House Elves, and the well-documented controversy surrounding Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. This happy reunion is turning into something that perhaps won't be so happy after all. Moving on, there's even more controversy. One problem was that the timing was off. Shortly after J.K. Rowling made openly transphobic remarks, Warner Brothers announced the release of Hogwarts Legacy. So it wasn't all smiles and support from everywhere. Since then, she's become even more outspoken about her distaste for transgender people, particularly trans women, and countless Harry Potter fans have demanded a complete boycott of any official products that could increase her wealth. So the video game wasn't off to a great start. Poor video game creators. Up next, the Goblin controversy. Hogwarts Legacy has also been accused of promoting anti-Semitic stereotypes in its portrayal of goblins, a problem that's present in the books as well. This accusation comes in addition to supporting Rowling, whose anti-trans statements have alienated a large chunk of her once committed fans. It's sad to see such a loved story go through so much hate, but that is the unfortunate reality. Since the game is set in the 1800s, one of the difficulties that players may run into is a so-called Goblin Rebellion, which the Harry Potter books frequently mention. In Hogwarts Legacy, goblins are portrayed as the antagonists in a conflict between wizards and them over whether or not they're permitted to carry wands. The rebellion's leader even shakily collaborates with a dark wizard to further his objectives. It's honestly disheartening to paint a group of persecuted people as evil for wanting to utilize their own magic freely and end their oppression, but that's what happens in the books. This plot feels much worse when you consider that the goblins are portrayed as greedy, hook-nosed bankers, which has been a mainstay of anti-Jewish propaganda since the Middle Ages. But maybe a bit too much is being read into something that probably was not intended to be in such a way. No world, not even the Wizarding World, can be only good or bad. It'll have lows just like the ugly truths of our world do. Continuing with, why are the goblins such a big deal? One of the main troubling aspects of the Harry Potter series, as we've discussed, is the goblins, because fans and even some book lovers say that the goblins in the novels and the movies are very similar to a parody of anti-Semitic stereotypes that have long been used to denigrate Jews. Whether this is true or not hasn't been proven, but their presence in the central bank in the Wizarding World and their treatment as second-class citizens, which is also never fully addressed in the series, have drawn a great deal of criticism over the years. It's true that they're treated really badly and portrayed as creatures better stayed away from, though whether they're depicted with characteristics typically associated with Jewish caricatures is anyone's guess. Goblins have long been portrayed for eons. They're a tale as old as this world, and they come in many faces. Following up, are we looking too deep into it? But the Goblin Rebellions mentioned throughout the franchise franchise make the whole thing a bigger problem. The Texans naturally favor the wizarding side, as these battles between wizards and goblins are presented as gory and frightening. Plus, the wizards and witches are the main characters of the novels. But the goal of the Goblin Rebellions was for goblins to prevent wizards from making them slaves and from withholding wands from them, measures that were previously applied to house elves, who are also problematically portrayed themselves. As a result, many fans get the impression that goblins are portrayed in the books as completely magical, sentient beings who are bad for not desiring to be enslaved and wrong for saying so. But given another point of view, we never really know the whole story. Yes, the wizards have put them in bad conditions, but we don't know the cause or the war that led to this. We don't know what the goblins will do if allowed to have wands. Since that law exists, it must be for a reason. Consider the banks they operate and the greed they have. Couple that with magic, we're quite not sure a lot of us would like the results. Moving on, is Rowling unjust or just realistic? As far as injustice goes, yes, perhaps the goblins can be given better status in the Harry Potter universe, but considering that J.K. Rowling likes to highlight issues of the real world, we think it was necessary for her to portray the goblins as she did. This is reality. The powerful get to make the rules, and an entire race is labeled bad because of the actions of some of the bad ones in the nest. But whether or not you want to make the connection of these goblins to the Jews and other problems they're associated with is entirely your choice, dear viewer. Next up, how the players are going to actively be involved with the issue. The goblins' issue isn't resolved at this point. Maybe it will never be. But despite Rowling's troubled past, Hogwarts Legacy makes an effort to reflect the transgender population. But it appears that the game will be continuing this image of the goblins that they've taken from the books, and, as skeptics are saying, are making it worse by making the issues more prominent. The game's main adversaries are goblins, who, given canon history, position players as the oppressor's hand. That raises too many negative comments about the game that hasn't even been released yet. Plus, Hogwarts students are allegedly being made to vanish by the goblins. This leads to yet another controversy for some people. It brings to mind anti-Semitic conspiracies from the latter half of the 20th century that claimed Jews were snatching kids. People are saying that this real-world connection renders the game either extremely irresponsible or just malicious, even though it was probably introduced to the game to make the goblins more of an evil force and less of a group fighting for their rights against an oppressive dictatorship. Following up, will the game be played? Fans will ultimately have to decide whether Hogwarts Legacy is worthwhile to play despite the numerous scandals and questionable content. Some people still think the early views of the game might not be giving a whole picture, and the game may deal with goblins more deftly than has been shown so far. Considering what's been demonstrated, though, doesn't give the people concerned much hope, and it appears that the franchise's lengthy history with the goblins will continue. But it has been a very long-awaited game for a very wide fan base. Who knows, maybe it will sell well despite all of this. Moving on, J.K. Rowling isn't so loved anymore. With the release of Hogwarts Legacy early in 2023, there has been significant speculation regarding J.K. Rowling and whether she'll make money from the game. Author and inventor Rowling has faced criticism in recent years for making public remarks that were criticized by many as being transphobic. As a result, the author has recently been much less active in creating new Harry Potter stuff. The documentary Harry Potter 20th Anniversary Return of Hogwarts aired without Rowling's presence at it. In addition, the Real World Quidditch League has changed its name to Quad Ball to disassociate itself from the author and her inflammatory remarks. With the publication of Hogwarts Legacy scheduled for February 10, 2023, speculation over Rowling's involvement is only escalating. So, would the author benefit from the release of the next video game? And what part does she play in it? Next up, will J.K. Rowling profit from Hogwarts Legacy? Despite the fact that Hogwarts Legacy is supposed to take place in the larger Harry Potter universe, Rowling had nothing to do with the game's plot or development. The game's creators provided confirmation of this in a recent FAQ. In addition to stating that the game is not a fresh story from J.K. Rowling, they also stated that she is not involved in the design of the game. The developers did, however, mention that they collaborated closely with her team on various parts of the game while building the environment from Hogwarts Legacy. Rowling will still benefit from the game's success, even though she may not have had a direct hand in its creation. All works produced using the Harry Potter IP still belong to the author, who's entitled to royalties from sales and all works produced with it. So, as a result, Rowling will indeed profit from Hogwarts Legacy. That amounts to royalties for Rowling, and given that the standard and deluxe editions of the game will be sold for $59.99 and $69.99 respectively, that may amount to a sizable sum of money for her. So, whether she took part in it or not doesn't really matter where profit is concerned. That's all for this video. Let us know in the comments what you make about the controversies of the game and Rowling being paid for it. Make sure to also give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.